Hello, and welcome to The Right Side. The Right Side is a news talk show produced by the Taunton Republican City Committee. We strive to present local, state, and national issues that impact our community, and we welcome all points of view to foster greater understanding and awareness. We want to make it clear that the views and opinions expressed on The Right Side do not reflect the view of Taunton Cable Media Access. And now, with great pleasure, we welcome you to The Right Side for a discussion of the issues of the day.
Welcome to The Right Side. My name is David Steinoff. I'll be your host. The Right Side is a conservative talk show aimed at alleviating some of the myths associated with the word conservative. I want to thank the Taunton Republican City Committee for all the hard work they've done in putting this show together. And with that, I'd like to turn to our two guests, Mr. Eric Dewhurst, who is the president of the Taunton Rifle and Pistol Association, or Club, on Britannia Street here in Taunton, and Mr. Roger Choquette, who is the owner and operator of Flint Armament in Fall River and also East Freetown.
Correct.
All right. Now, we're going to discuss the Second Amendment, but by no way is the Right Side a Second Amendment only show. We're a conservative talk show aimed at, as I said before, alleviating some of the myths and bringing on some of the other ideas. Going forward, hopefully, we'll be able to bring in opposing views so we can give you, the viewing audience, more information, and that's what we're all about. Tonight, though, we're hoping to shed a little light on the current debate regarding the Second Amendment with these two gentlemen. Mr. Dewhurst, you've been at Taunton Rifle and Pistol for how many years?
I've been president for 12 years now.
12 years. And I would say your membership has...
We've been growing steadily, but in the past 8 months, it's been growing much faster than ever before.
Do you think that's spurred on by the recent gun ban debate?
The gun ban debate and just the way things seem to be going. Gun ownership is becoming more and more desirable among the population.
And that's here in Massachusetts. I know as a Mass resident all my life, the laws have been pretty tough on us.
They are, but people are deciding that they're going to stick it out and go ahead and get their permits and own firearms.
All right. And now your Taunton Rifle and Pistol, you offer gun safety courses.
We offer gun safety courses and a safe place to we think a safe place to shoot that's open to the 2,000 families that are members.
2,000 families, that's young to old.
Young to old. We have a very active junior shooting program. We're sending 6 shooters to the Olympic Training Center this weekend.
6 shooters, that's fantastic.
We have some very talented...
Are these young boys and girls going to the Olympic?
It's mostly girls, but yes. And one young woman who's shooting with us just got a 4-year scholarship to University of Kentucky. It's a group Division I NCAA school, and they gave her a 4-year ride based on her shooting prowess.
All right, well, let's make sure we mention that again, because I know as a father of 2 daughters, I'm looking for all the help I can get putting them through school. They're going for a scholarship based on shooting?
Yes.
And what was the name of the school that did it?
University of Kentucky. Well, she was approached by several, all shooting scholarships, but she liked the University of Kentucky better than the others that she was approached by.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, I'm trying to talk my daughter into hockey. How are you going to pay for college? I'll figure it out. Maybe going down to the Rifle and Pistol will help out. Now, Mr. Choquette, you've been the owner and operator of Flint Armament since 2011?
Yeah, we opened our doors for retail operations May 2nd, 2011. We'll be coming up to our 2nd anniversary here shortly.
Oh, that's fantastic. What made you decide to take on this type of a career?
After retiring from a corporate position, at 55 I felt too young to fully retire. I've always been passionate about firearms. I grew up in Westport. I was brought up with firearms, taught how to use them by older brothers and my father. And it was always a hobby of mine. And it was just something that was natural for me to go into.
I imagine, even though it's a business, it was probably tough to get some of the permits. Or was it difficult to get some of the permits to open up this store?
Actually, we had a lot of cooperation from Fall River, from the building department, from the police and fire, from the mayor's office. We had a good, solid plan. We said we were going to hire people, and that's exactly what we did. Right now, we have 17 full and part-time employees.
17.
17.
And a brand new store. That's fantastic. I've done some field research. Full disclosure, I went down to the store last night, walked
Thank
through.
you.
Excellent place, very safe, very comfortable environment. Good selection, by the way.
Thank you.
I got to walk through and look, and the people were right there, Johnny on the spot with the information. They didn't know who I was, which is a good way for people to learn. And you have the gun safety courses
Yes, we
for
teach.
young to old, offered when, how?
We offer them most Saturdays. We've been so busy lately, we've been having AM and PM sessions as well.
Really?
We have a lot of people coming in that want training. We're booked out at least into May right now for classes, and there's no end in sight.
Do you find, again, like Eric was talking about, that you're seeing families coming in, making it a group hobby or activity?
Yeah.
Young children, how young would you start gun safety courses?
Oh, you start gun safety when children are very, very young.
Just to teach them?
Just to teach them to avoid.
Okay.
Okay. The NRA has a program called Eddie Eagle. I know Taunton has been very active in that. The Eddie Eagle program is designed for children to teach them to stop, don't touch, tell a responsible adult when they see a firearm. Very good program. So training should begin at a very young age.
Especially if you own firearms.
Especially if you have firearms in the home.
Regardless of whether or not you believe they're properly stored.
Well, guns should be properly stored. I mean, we store pesticides away from children. We store dangerous things away from children. We put safety locks on the cabinets. We shouldn't be treating anything, including firearms, without just the utmost safety in mind.
Now, the idea, as Roger's talking about, the idea of firearm safety is paramount to all of us. Full disclosure, I've been licensed to carry since the early 90s, so I've been around it. But I've found that people associated with rifle and pistol clubs, rod and gun clubs, the stores that sell them are absolutely concerned about the safety.
It's one of the first things and paramount in our teaching at the club is that safety is the first thing you have to be concerned with. And we have safety posters posted in all the ranges. It's one of the things that we preach very hard. We can't have accidents happening.
I mean, we're talking about the average law-abiding gun owner is a very reliable person when it comes to taking care of their guns and managing it.
They are. They have an excellent record of safe storage, making sure that they're not available to unauthorized, untrained people. But not everybody belongs to a gun club or deals with a first-class operation like Flint Armament. There are some yahoos out there.
Okay, but they're few and
They are few and far between, and
statistically, as I've read, obtaining, when criminals use guns in violent crimes, they're admitting that they're obtaining less than 1% via gun shows, as much as 7 or 8 via some retail outlets, but the majority from friends or illegally off the street. So we're not talking about legal trade, which is what the
Right.
gun bans. So our audience will understand, gun restrictions and gun laws really do affect
law-abiding citizens, not criminals. Criminals they're not dissuaded by the fact that they shouldn't be doing something.
Right. Every person that I've been familiar, and I've known people for years, patients of mine, I'm a dentist by trade, patients that come in with a gun are extremely concerned about how they store it. They take care to store it during the visit, disable it, et cetera, et cetera. The way people go through the routine, I've found most of the people that I know that own guns and handle guns are extremely careful. Have you, as far as the age, we talked about starting at a very young age, do you find teenagers becoming more and more active as far as learning about guns and participating?
We're seeing students 14 and above in our stores, which we like to see, because it's never too early to start a child handling firearms in a safe manner. Because as we all know, the more training that you receive on anything, the more conscientious you're going to be about those things.
Okay, we have just a public service announcement coming up. We'll be back very shortly. I thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you for serving.
Thank you.
We thank the troops for all the support they've given us. But how do we thank the ones who support them?
Thank you for your service.
Thanks USA provides scholarships to the spouses and children of our troops and helps give a future to the people who support the troops the most.
Thanks for supporting them.
Thank you for your dedication.
Go to ThanksUSA.org to see how you can express your appreciation for what they do, for our heroes.
Thank you.
Go to ThanksUSA.org now.
Thank you.
Welcome back to The Right Side. David Steinhoff, your host, with Eric Dewhurst and Roger Choquette. Gentlemen, as far as dispelling some of the myths associated with the Second Amendment concerns, obviously a lot of the current debate is associated with the tragedy that occurred at Sandy Hook. Mm-hmm. We all agree. That's something that's absolutely unthinkable. The tragedy itself, especially when it affects children, made no sense. But would you agree that the number of deaths that occur as associated with guns by law-abiding citizens is so small?
Gun owners are very responsible for their firearms and the way they use them. In the recent cases that you're talking about, these are criminals or mentally ill people who've gotten hold of firearms either by killing someone or breaking into or having a girlfriend buy them for them. Again, illegal purchases and transactions, which trampling on the Second Amendment isn't going to stop. Dianne Feinstein, Senator Feinstein from California, had her gun proposal already written long time ago, and she waited till Sandy Hook came along, and what she's doing is she's exploiting a crisis, because as Ron Emanuel, when he was President Obama's chief of staff, said, don't let any good crisis go unspent. And so she's taking advantage of that to help push her agenda to stop us as law-abiding citizens use and own firearms.
I mean, you've painted a whole picture about the average person is using it for sport, for hobby, recreation, spend some time with their family and friends, also for personal defense. My understanding is there are far more situations in this country where people, average citizens, are using their weapons in defense far more often than gun crimes are being committed. But as far as the gun ban, as we said before, it's affecting the average citizen and you, the store owner, the industry itself.
Yes, it is.
How's it affected the industry? Well, what's happened to the industry right now? I mean, we know that membership's going up at the Taunton Rifle and Pistol. How's your store?
There are a lot of folks that are very concerned about having their rights taken away from them. And since the tragedy that happened in December, sales have reached all-time levels.
I mean, are you finding it hard to keep up with some of the demand on certain weapons?
Yes, we are. We're very fortunate in that we've forged some very great relationships with our suppliers. Most gun shops, unfortunately, are on reduced hours or appointment only because of what's going on. It's very difficult to get product. There is much of our ammunition supply is at all-time lows. Just as fast as ammunition's being made, it's being sold to the government and to the public. And we're short on things that we never expected to be short on. 22 long rifle ammo, the kind that the shooting teams use. Okay. We have difficulty obtaining enough for training purposes and for competitions. It's really incredible right now.
Now, I tried to make my way through some of the proposed gun ban. Right now, do you have an understanding, Eric, or perhaps you, Roger, where it sits right now in the Senate, the House, Feinstein's proposal?
The House has passed major portions of it. It's stalled in the Senate, where...
Or is it vice versa? The Senate's passed major portions, right? Feinstein and the Senate has passed major portions, and the House is stalling?
All right, that's...
All right, right.
That's it.
Okay, but did she lighten up on some of the so-called assault weapon ban that they were proposing? Because my understanding is Harry Reid didn't want to have to get the entire thing stopped in Congress based on that they're trying to muscle through some of the background check enhancements and the effects it might have on certain ammo and so on.
She's backed off on portions of it, but it's not a relaxation of what she's trying to get done.
By no means is she backed off on everything.
Right, and she's still pressing for really abrogating our civil liberties and our civil rights for this.
Oh, by no means. I mean, let's make no mistake. This is our right to bear arms.
The Second Amendment, which we started talking about, is the only amendment of the first 10 that requires a specific duty. It's the only one that requires action. And that says something for it.
Our Second Amendment, which says we have the right to own and bear arms, and it shall not be infringed upon. My understanding is that our founding fathers enumerated the rights. Our freedom of speech being our first right, our second right to bear arms to protect our first. I've always looked at it that way. In all sincerity, we've talked about recreation and so on, but what, in your opinion, is the real reason our founding fathers put that Second Amendment in there?
It really goes back to 1689 in the English Bill of Rights, where it granted English citizens the right and obligation to have and bear arms, to form a militia if needed. And a militia can be anyone. And if you read what it says in the Second Amendment original intentions, there's an obligation. Some people feel there's an obligation on a citizen to own and maintain the means to defend himself.
What is it? Switzerland, am I right, Roger? The country of Switzerland, the head of the household is actually, well, he's mandated to own and operate, he or she is mandated to own and operate a machine gun and train on it each and every year.
That is my understanding. I know the private ownership of firearms in that country is near 100% from what
Private
I've read.
ownership as well.
Yeah.
When we visited Switzerland, I did see it was fully automatic, which, by the way, that brings me back to the assault weapon, that mantra. Mm-hmm. Assault-style weapons is what this ban is aimed at by Senator Feinstein. Would you explain some of the difference between assault style